Welcome to another
Thank
program.
you. Thank you.
We are, of course, always pleased to talk with you and to hear your thoughts on all the things that are important at this time that the citizens want to hear about. But I've got to say that when we talk about the housing sector, it is a shining example of success for your government. And when you look at it, everything that you have done so far for the sector, it looks to me as if there was a deliberate effort to make this sector successful. Tell us about how you went about doing that.
Well, when we came to government, the situation in housing was really, really bad. People were living under very bad conditions, and rents were very, very high. And one of the big cry of the people was for better housing. Many of them went to squatting and lived in really poor conditions without any type of facilities. So that was a priority for the government from the very beginning. But as you would realize, when we got into the office, our country was almost totally bankrupt. So we did a policy, first of all, of trying to help the low-income people by a system of cross-subsidization. What we did, we sold some front lands. We retired the sugar estates more and more into the backlands, sold some front lands to some higher, middle and higher income people for development, and used that together with government money to cross-subsidize to develop house lots so that ordinary low-income people could have afforded to get their own house lots. So that was how it started, by government putting in resources, but because we didn't have all those resources, we did a position of cross-subsidization, and that is how the whole housing drive was launched. And that has gone a very, very far way now. We have since then, we have distributed more than 112,000 house lots into the sector, most of it to the low-income people. And rents, I think, people are living far better. Many of them are living in their own homes. We've had to also deal with the question of the banking system to get loans for them. You will recall at that time, too, a loan at the bank was more than 30%. We started to work to bring down the loans and eventually work with the banks to give them some tax breaks, using our tax policies to give them tax breaks so that they could have give loans to home builders at a lower interest rate. And that kept coming down, and we more or less perfect that method. So today we have quite a low and acceptable interest rates for people who are building their own homes.
I think what was interesting and certainly very admirable too is that you didn't just stop at having the New Building Society provide the low-income rates. You were able to get other banks, in fact all the banks, to come on board and offer that same rate, and you called it the low-income mortgage rates, yeah?
Yes, and I think they were very happy too, because housing people very rarely default on their house payment for their houses. So it was a good program that benefited all the parties. It was a win-win situation for everybody. The government was able to get people living in better circumstances. The banks were able to lend more money and have faster turnover for their money. And the people were able to borrow money at much lower interest rates than ever before in this sector.
Well, certainly, I know